How does licensure and certification work for sign language interpreters in Canada? There's a few things that I need to explain. So number one is we have a national organization called CASLI, the Canadian Association of Sign Language Interpreters. CASLI has affiliate chapters in many of the provinces, not all. So when we pay our membership dues to CASLI, you select your provincial chapter affiliate and you get membership to both. The only exception to that is WAVLI in BC. In British Columbia, they have title protection. So you can be a CASLI member and a WAVLI member, but you can also just be a WAVLI member. That's my understanding. And they adhere to the Code of Ethics and Guidelines for Professional Conduct, but they have their own internal dispute resolution process. Whereas for other provincial chapter affiliates, CASLI would mediate that. Title protection means that within that province, to call yourself certain titles, I think they have 3 or 4 that are protected titles. If you want to work as, for example, the protected title of sign language interpreter, you have to be a member in good standing. Now, membership to the national organization and certification within CASLI, who is the only body that certifies sign language interpreters in Canada, is not mandatory. As I mentioned in previous videos, it'd be the Wild West up here. Most levels of government and individual organizations have a minimum standard that they require for contract interpreters. For example, interpreters that work for the federal government have to pass a screening. To work under the Ministry of Attorney General, which is the court systems, you're supposed to pass a screening. And then individual organizations may have their own screening. So for example, Canadian Hearing Services, to be on their roster of freelance interpreters, you have to pass their screening. But other than that, most businesses or organizations may have an internal policy that requires an interpreter to have a certain number of years experience and graduate from an ITP, and usually CASLI membership. However, that's not always the case. Theoretically, somebody who has taken an ASL level 1 course could get a job as a sign language interpreter because the people who are doing the hiring don't know anything about sign language or the deaf community. Don't do that. That's wildly unethical. Then in terms of achieving certification within CASLI, members can take a written test of knowledge. They have to attend several workshops, and then they have to pass a screening. And it screens their skill level in both receptive and productive ASL and English. LSQ interpreters can also be members, and so can DIs.